We're going to come back to the moon and start with the moon. Okay. Aside from the Earth represents our body and its changes of light, dark, hot, cold, elemental changes that are going on day to day. That's our physical form, our sense of separateness. I'm separate from my mom. I'm in my own body. It's not our spirit of who we are. It's the spirit that's owning or experiencing or living, getting a life in this body. We pick up a body for a certain number of years. So the moon, so we didn't go extensively into the daily cycles of this, but with the moon, it's the first obvious thing. We've had 30 days of experience. We've had the light and the dark change, the hot and the cold change. We've had comfort, discomfort. We've been nourished. We've been feeling unnourished. We've been hungry. We've been full. We've had to have our functions. We had to pee. We had to poo. We had to feel comfortable. Everything's sensitive and painful at first. It comes in. It's not an easy transition. So over 30 months, 30 days, this gets a little more stable. You get parents calm down, things calm down, a bit of a ritual set up. But the moon represents this. We have the picture of the moon, and the moon on the planet, it pulls all the water on the planet. Like it makes the tides of the two tides of the day. So when the moon's overhead or where the moon's underneath, these are the two high tides of the day. And when it becomes a new moon or full moon, it's the two high tides, it becomes the high tides of the month. So as the moon pulls the water on the planet, it's really the force, the anti-gravitational force that pulls the water up through the roots of plants, up through the stems, up to the leaves to feed the leaves. It pulls the water up from the earth up, and mixed with the sunlight heat, it begins to create the growth. But the moon is this pull of the water. When it comes to, it does immediately represent your link to your mom and the sympathies and the sympathy and the physical bond with this biopsychic link to your mom. So it's there whether it was good or bad, whether your mom denied it or not, there's still a biopsychic link to your mom, and your sense of security is tied into it. So there's many words that mean that are representing the sun, but let's just say your sympathy links, your link to your mom, biopsychic connections, your sense of security, whether you feel secure or not. Boy, if you feel secure, you sit down, you have a dinner, you hang around with people, you're feeling good. You've been fed by mom. You're just lying there cozy. Are you being fed? This is the peak of security. Food's coming to you from the miraculously weird world. You're here all alone. All of a sudden, food's coming to you. It's a miracle we live a day. But the memory is the memory of what happened in the first 30 days of your life. All of it. The cycles, the phases, the patterns, and the extreme things that happen repeatedly each day. The moon begins to remember them. This is a secure time. This is not a secure time. And we develop a pattern about what's secure and what's not that affects the whole rest of our life. We still go on and evolve it, but this basic pattern gets set very strongly till it becomes almost subliminal, but still you feel it. So the moon represents the sympathy link to your basic needs, the basic needs to your mom. You need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to be touched, you need to be changed. It's all these basic needs to keep you alive. That's the moon. But because it's daily, by the time we live through 10, 20, 100 moon cycles, this becomes old hat. We get used to taking care of ourselves or having someone take care of us. It differentiates as we gain experience as we go through our life. But this sense of nutrition, being nurtured, the link of mom to the breast, whether the baby's breastfed or not breastfed. Of course, even going back, C-section or non-C-section makes a huge difference in how we approach this first moon cycle. Because one, you have all the stress and tension of life and death and tension, and it resolves into life. The other, you bypass that, and you come into life, but it's not coming with the stress or tension. And with it, not with certain instincts of that pressure or tension make you alive. So it would be interesting to see, do some statistics on how many people that are taking antidepressants or maybe in Prozac, whatever, to just calm you out, were C-sections or not. You would think basically the non-C-section that came through the cervix, that came through the pressure and went through it all, almost died and was born, would be more alive and more vitally here or stronger. Okay, just thoughts. And I'm just trying to build up the thoughts around so we get familiar with the moon so we can remember these things in a conscious way. So your basic needs, what you feel you need for security. If someone hasn't got the basic, if they haven't had a meal, if a kid hasn't had a good night's sleep, if they're living in a war zone, if there's no sleep, if there's no good meal, how can they ever go to school and study? Like, how can we function at anything? It's true for everyone. So this, even at any age, this function is still here. So this link to mom, this feeling about whether we were brought up secure or not, whether the liking or not liking it, that's a Venus quality. We'll come to that. But we got here. We come through the trip of our mother. We pick up the body, and our soul gets connected to being alive, and we have this life to live. So the moon, memory, link to mom, sympathy links, basic needs. That's a good one, your basic needs. But then the most primal one is your memory, how you reflect on things. You feel this feels secure, this doesn't feel secure. Someone gets close, you feel okay about it. Someone gets close, you don't feel secure about it. This feeling secure is part of the moon function. And your memories, remembering what happened. I've been here before. I remember these things, creates this feeling. I remember this is secure. I remember this is not secure. It sets a basic form that's at the primal edge that most psychologists are trying to get us to if you're working with psychology. But psychology is very different than spiritual development. It's two different things, not the same. But the this memory, everything that have happened to you, it keeps accumulating, and patterns go on, and they're going on inside, and you're absorbing these memories. But there's so many different types of memories: good, bad, happy, sad, insecure, secure. But we build up a whole, what do you call it, a whole foundation, a whole building of memories. I mean, right now, who are we? We're the results of all the experiences we've had that we can remember. And even ones that we can't remember are part of who we are. But we know things can come up that make us feel secure or insecure. It's not much different than that 1-month-old kid. It's just by the time we live through more moon cycles, we become familiar with the pattern of these tides of our feelings and our needs being met, being not met, what we have to do. Our basic instincts is another name, another keyword for the moon. I feel I got to do something. I can't just sit here. I got this feeling that there's something has to be done to fix or adjust security. Whether it's to stay somewhere, whether it's to get somewhere, to get away from somewhere, whether it's to go to sleep. I'm too tired. I feel I got to go to sleep, or I can't go to sleep. Like all of these basic patterns. So people that are afraid of the dark, that pattern was set in the first 30 days of their life. Whether your mom liked to be feeding you or not letting you feed you, your attitude to be nourished, that's set in the first month of your life and then reinforced subsequently after that. So, I mean, this is from the inner going to the outer, but we're remembering things that have happened to us. Not everything, but we're remembering this sense of security. So the basic needs, your basic needs, that's one of the things you can always, the moon is your basic needs and your basic sense of security. These are the keywords, basic keywords for the moon. But memory is another one, and memory, so as we have feelings and memories and feelings about basic needs or basic security, something comes up and we start reflecting on it. Something happens and we start reflecting on it against the background of our memories. This happened before. I felt secure then. Do I feel secure now? Where the moon is kind of taking the experience now of the moment now and shoveling it into our memories where we can reflect on it. What's happening? What's going on? Was that like this reflecting is How do you reflect on things? Something happens to you. Do you reflect on whether it was good or bad? Do you reflect on it? Gets extended in time a little bit, but really, we're always affected by our memories. If we're feeling happy in the moment, we remember good things. If we're feeling bad in the moment now, we remember the bad things. It affects our dreams. The dream world is like a memory, is part of the moon. It's that's where it would be more vivid, where your sense of security, not security, acting out in our dreams. But dreams would be, not daydreams, but sleeping dreams, sort of, the moon would represent the way you have your dreams, the type of dreams you have, what security senses are there or not. So, I mean, it's easy to read a book and start, oh, the moon is your mother, its moods, its memories, its basic needs, and you got the words down, you use those words you're saying, but you don't always know, you don't stop it to think what it actually means. These are huge processes that go on as long as we're alive. And they affect our behavior. Our basic behavior pattern is based on the moon, on our sense of security or not, our feelings, our memories of where we come from. And we remember having been two souls in one body where we're totally safe, seemingly so, inside the mother. We have that memory of the collectiveness of being together, but we're born separated from it, and that memory becomes a more distant thing that we get moments of it. When someone gets close or mom touches us, we begin to feel we can be inside of her seemingly. Whew. Okay, but this is the work that takes. You get the ideas, but you have to stop them and think about what does it mean? Where are we? And so when we're looking at the moon, this is primal. It's essential, but boy, it changes when you start to see if the moon's in a sign, whether it's freedom-oriented or the instincts are independent or instincts are grouped. You can see how someone feels they need to be secure doing their own thing or feels they need someone else to be with them to do anything. And all the shades in between it. So the moon, we have our symbols for the moon. Just usually it's the crescent moon. I like to use the circle with half the moon lit and half the moon not. I use often on many of my drawings, you'll see the moon drawn like this. So, but generally in published books, you'll see the moon as the crescent. Just semantics. I just put it here. But this expanding of the moon and how it affects us. Okay, so here's the cycle of the signs. Here's the cycle with the planet, the houses below, and each planet has a layer, a different plane, a cycle with a plane going up. It's like a whole tube. So if you were to look at this drawing and you see the signs up above, that would be like the top looking from the, when we look at a chart, it's like you're looking from the top of the head down and you're seeing all these cycles pushed into one circle. We're trying to understand it. We pull it out like an accordion, stand it up, and it stands like it's like our spine, and we see the top of our spine and the base of our spine, and we see the nerve centers going all the way up our backbone. And each planet has a different layer, a different chakra that's going up. And from here, you can see each planet here. This gray shaded one at the bottom is the moon. And from the moon, we see the aspects across the chart. But the aspects really are going way up, down, across. They're all different layers. They're not just flat across the chart as things. They're different dimensions from different layers, different levels coming in to affect the moon.